Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to reviewing the Pokemon franchise. And moving on to the next entry in the Black and White series. Next is Pokemon the movie, Kyurem, and the Sword of Justice. Now, I can say that I thought this one was better than than the Black and White movie with Victini and Reshiram and Vikram. I thought this was a tad bit better to me. Probably, I don't know, just how the way the film is probably is why I thought it was a bit better. Now, what can I say about this one? I still, like I said, I think I enjoy this one, and and I thought this one was pretty with it. I thought this one was pretty fun to watch, and more on these different types of Pokemon that they're called this group that is called the Sword of Justice. Probably because the setting of it and the premise of it, and I think this one is even much without I think this is one of the shorter it's one of the shortest ones that I've seen, but before the credits go, it's like a little over an hour, like about an hour and 7 minutes or maybe 8. So before the end credits, and this one's a much shorter. It's a much shorter film, more than all the previous ones. So it's like about maybe just about 70 minutes at most. So it is definitely much more shorter one. And no Pokemon short either. There has been any Pokemon shorts for the past couple ones. So, but I thought that I got some enjoyment out of this one. I would probably say, well, when I get to the review to the next one, why I say it's like the best one than of the Black and White series ones, we'll have to wait and see why I review the next one. So, in this one, it opens up with the members of the Swords of Justice. You have Virizion, and you have Virizion. Then you got Terracon, and Babylon. Sorry to pronounce that. How to pronounce that one? Cobalon. I think that's what it is. Cobalon. And they're the three members of the Swords of Justice, and you got Keldeo, who's the younger and trainee trying to become the next member of the Sword of Justice. And you see he's training with all three of them, saying that he's ready to become a Sword of Justice, and he wants to prove he wants to battle Kyurem, which is that right there. And of course, being arrogant and cocky, because think, I'm trying to think I'm better and I think I can do it, that type of thing, what happens a lot of times in films, but he goes into this abandoned mine where Kyurem is at, and saying he lies, saying that he is a Sword of Justice, but he's not, and fights him, gets beaten badly, and the three members, they see him, but they says that they try not to interfere because it's his fight, not theirs. But they see him getting beaten up badly, and Terracon wants to help though, but and so is a Cobalon steps in as well, but eventually Kyurem, says no interference, and then freezes them. So when Keldeo sees that, he gets scared, runs away, and Kyurem is angry, and he just goes on after him, and then and then we're introduced with once again with Ash and his friends, with Iris and uh, oh, Silent. almost forgot his name for a second. Silent. They're on a train on their way to the next town, and they have some of the Pokemon out. With the Axew, Pikachu, Scraggy, Oshawott, Snivy. Oh, Emolga, Pansage. They're all playing together in the train, and as they're traveling on the train, as the Pokemon playing on the train, yeah, the next song that's from the second part of the Black and White series, Rival Destinies, playing, a new adventure's the other name, that song. So you have that song playing. That's one of my. I feel like most of the theme songs from the show. That's one of my least favorite ones. It's not that bad of a song though, but even though it's nice to hear it in the movie though, but it's not one of my favorite songs. I think the next song after that one, the next song of in the Unova region is better. I forget what the Adventures in Unova, the next one after this one. I think it's a much better theme than this one though. So as they at a pit stop, they want to get some lunch. They carry all this big lunch boxes. And Keldeo jumps on top of the train and saying, "Whoa!" And they say, "Well, what's that?" When they see him, and then they say, "Oh, Kyurem's after him." Then he comes in and starts attacking them, but manages to lose them through the tunnel. But Iris has heard of him, as Kyurem has too, because when she was in the Village of Dragons, the elder tells her that he's the strongest of all dragon Pokemon, and he has the ability to transform, to the black and white, to different versions, like it says right here, like transform into the white version of Reshiram and the black version of Vecrum. So he's called like the strongest of all dragon type Pokemon. And then you get to the and when they get to the next town, and Keldeo is at the Pokemon Center, and his horn's been broken. But I forgot to mention that his horn got broken during that fight with him, and he's at the Pokemon Center being healed. And Nurse Joy explains about the Swords of Justice. And after that, they have lunch, and Keldeo, Ash wants to have some lunch with him. It explains about what happened, why he was beaten up. So that he wants to explains about what happened to his friends, and Ash wants to help, of course. And so they decide to go back and help them. And while it's going on, they get chased by the herd of Cryogonal. Cryogonal is this ice it's a ice Pokemon. It's like a frozen version of Bronzor, So there's a whole bunch of them. They're chasing them, using their ice attacks on them, and manage to ditch them in the underground tunnels, underground subway, until they get up to this museum, and they have a plan to, that Iris is going to uses bait, so she's going to lure them away with a hard air balloon, which is fun. It's funny. It's like an expedition with all these vehicles and airplanes, right? And they just go up and take one anyway, like no permission or anything. They just go right up and take the hot air balloon. I just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, it is like you can just go and take whatever you want, So, Iris is the first, to leave, as a distraction, while Ash, Keldeo, and the Silent go on underground train. And once the Pokemon sees that it's Iris and Axew, they leave, and then Silent's gonna be the next to distract them by going on a train with using his electricity to make because electric to make a move, and with his stun fisk. And once the train's been stopped by Kyurem, he's the only one that's there, so they go and leave. And Ash, then is just talking with Keldeo, that he wants to tell them as he can. You cannot be afraid. You have to go back and face your fears and this and that. And also, Keldeo remembering on all of the important advices that the three members have told him. So, and then they eventually do. They get back to the abandoned mine. They find the three of them frozen there. Ash is trying to get them out while Kyurem comes back and wants to get, and Keldeo confronts him, saying that he lied, and he wants to continue on he wants to battle him once again. And when he gets there, he goes to the next his transformation to his next form, and a bit of improvement helps him out a little bit, while Ashes and Silent Iris do come in to try to help them out, and Keldeo is doing his best to fight. He's doing pretty good, but then he gets beaten up again once the three members are free, and they see him. They tell him that it's his fight. They can't interfere once again, and then he there was one blast that was gonna hit Ash and his friends, and Keldeo steps in and takes the blow, and then for one thing leads to another, he grows like all the three members. They have like their swords. It's a sword justice. They all have it's like a horn, but it acts like a sword. And then he eventually Keldeo gets his own sword and fights Kyurem, and ultimately he gets beaten though. But he says, you win. I yield. But then Kyurem tells him that you, instead of achieving your victory, because he saw that he stepped in and took in to save took that blow to save his friends, more than your victory, and then he says, you have a fine sword. And then he goes back, but he's about to go back. The whole place starts collapsing because from the fighting, but Kyurem manages to freeze everything in place, and then just returns back into his back into his cave, I should say. So, and now he harnesses the true power of his sword, the weight of his sword, what Kobalon has told him before, one of the important advices that he's told him. And after that, they congratulate on everything that he has, what he's accomplished. Now that the members, it's time for him to receive the Sword of Justice oath. I forgot what the oath is called. It's like 1 is 2, 2 is 3, and 3 is 4. And Ash says and his friends are there to witness it, and then what the form they took him before was what is called as this resolute form. And as they all say the oath, and that's the end of the movie. And once again, as the credits are going, it shows that they say goodbye. Ash and his friends, they say goodbye to them as they continue on their journey as usual, and it shows clips of the members of the Sword of Justice on doing what they're doing. And then you see Team Rocket just very briefly. Just their appearances is just like a couple of seconds of cameo in this film. That's it. Like at the beginning, as they're going right into the train, you saw Jane's for a brief moment because he's in a trench coat, and same with Jesse, who's in a trench coat. Then as the credits are going, you saw them, they're pushing the vehicle as carrying something. I mean, this because there was a part in that series where they were just they were not attacking Ash's friends that much. They were planning on doing something big in one particular part of the city. So and that's why they were being all secretive. That's where they were being all in trench coats and stuff. So yeah, so basically they were not in this movie. So because a lot of the like I said the last previous times there was no need. There was times that they never should be in the movie. So it doesn't bother me that there were just like a few seconds of cameo in this movie because if I was right that because they were planning on doing like in the series they were planning on doing I forget they were planning on doing something big in that part of the show, so that's why you only saw them very briefly, and that's why they were in the trench coats and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, so Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice. I think I do enjoy this one. I think it's how the film goes. This is why I think it's a bit better than Victini and Reshiram and Bekram, the previous one. And I thought they was like Keldeo I thought was like interesting Pokemon, and Kyurem he's just saying well at least he's because he's called the strongest Dragon Pokemon, but I'm sure there's other stronger Dragon Pokemon out there though. But if he's called the strongest Dragon Pokemon, but and really enough the English version of the English dub voice of Kyurem is actually another voice from Yu-Gi-Oh was the season with the Seal Void Cocos, the same English actor voiced Raphael in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, just want to point that out because that's a very noticeable voice because I've seen the whole Yu-Gi-Oh show. So the time with the Seal Void Cocos, the members, Raphael is the same voice, the English version actor who voices the Kyurem in this film. And there was times like Fred, he transforms into like the versions of Reshiram and Bekram. But this one I thought was another. I thought it was even better than the previous one, Victini and Reshiram and Bekram. Because I like the probably the interesting looking Pokemon characters I thought, or how the way the film played out, and especially it's decently well paced because it's a much shorter running time than on most of the previous ones, and I think it has like positive reviews. I think it had, and well as a 5.6 in IMDb, and that's a little bit lower than the most ones, and made about 44 million in the Japanese box office. So it's a bit lower than the previous ones, and this one usually I'm not particularly sure which one it rates on Rotten Tomatoes though, but I'm sure if I'm pretty sure it'll probably range about in the 66%. So in fact, let me just quickly look it up. Because usually I always know what they have on Rotten Tomatoes, but I guess I just wasn't ready for this one, so just quickly look it up. Yeah, it's like about 60% Rotten Tomatoes. So, because it's probably like one of the one of the lower ones, of the Rotten Tomato ones, much more one of the lower ones than most of the previous ones. Because besides the ones that were released in theaters, all the direct-to-video film sequels have been high up in the Rotten Tomatoes. So I guess like the first one's like much more lower than the previous ones, and even on IMDb as well. So, but I still enjoy this one, and I think it's also worth a look as well. So I would definitely give this one a thumbs up, and I wouldn't be lying if I did. So yeah, this was my review for Pokemon the movie, Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice. Next one is getting to one with Mewtwo and Genesect. So, and which that one I do think that which that one I have one nitpick on, but I'll have to get to that when I review it. So, but hopefully you like this one, and if you haven't seen it, check it out and give your own thoughts on it. But I do enjoy this one. I won't lie, I do like this one. So yeah. So stay tuned for the next one, which is the one with Mewtwo and Genesect. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next Pokemon movie review, and just getting much closer, almost to the end. It's been a long running time of this franchise, but I'm glad I got to review this franchise. So finally, but yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next Pokemon movie later.